Morning, everyone. Welcome to Cardano Q&A. We are looking at the Cardiff project at the moment. They launched on Cardano in 2022, but have had some issues. And in the past couple of years, it looks like they've had a lot of falling out internally, and their ex-employees been smearing them in the press. So they did have a $1.8 million worth of investment, and that is now petered down to 4.8. So they still have some money, still have some runway in terms of doing things, but they've got new CEOs on board and working on a Polygon network now. They were an interesting project in that they're looking at impact investment. So the projects that they take on board and offer them support and a sort of launch pad for their projects. They are all impact investment projects. So whether that is in energy or humanitarian causes, that sort of choice is made by the DAO. They pick the projects to invest in, and they're added to their portfolio, and so people can invest into the portfolio en masse, which is a good system to get set up and working. If you can get the relationships right, which is the same for any business, any enterprise, really. You got to have good relationships to make it work. So their public problems have resulted in a fairly dismal price action for the token. But their projects that they do work with are, I don't know how they're doing in the individual cases, but I do know that some of them were very interesting when I looked at them back in the day. So they had Revolut, which was an electric car. Oh no, hang on, that was Revolut with an E on the end, and they were doing something about electric cars and something about garages. I'm a bit shady.
Battery replacements or something.
Right, battery swaps for your electric cars. Revolt, that was it. Revolt. It was quick scam. Longevity electric vehicles. They want to make them last 100 years. So effectively doing battery swaps, because that's the weak point in the lifetime of a car. So that's interesting. And I don't know how that project's doing, but they've got some stats on this page if you were interested in. Again, I'll drop all these links into the Discord chat after the call. Another project I remember looking at was this Pixo, which was around recycled food containers. Sorry, not recycled. Instead of having recyclable ones or throwaway disposable ones, which most of the plastic products are, they actually have reusable. So they build higher grade plastic food containers like burger boxes and so forth, and then actually wash them and have them reusable, which is a much more sensible approach. I probably would prefer ceramics still, which is the way we all used to do things back in the day, but this is in restaurants. But things do go in cycles, and some of the lessons we're learning in this current disposable environment are coming back to bite us, and I think we will return to more reasonable things as well. And even in the electric cars case, the environmental arguments for them is hard to justify quite yet. They don't have all the buttons nailed down, all the numbers nailed out, in my opinion, when it comes to actually creating long-term sustainable vehicles that don't cause massive pollution and consumption of resources. Probably far better off riding our bikes still. There we go. Not entirely practical. And if public transport was any good in this country, I'm in the UK, I'd be much more keen to use it. But I'm stuck with my car because it's the only thing that gets me from A to B reliably.
You can add New Zealand to that same list as well, Jonathan, because our transport is crap as well.
Yeah. If only they'd put some effort into making it actually a great thing, like in some nations, Japan and so on so forth. Then we might all jump to it, but yeah, we're not quite there yet. Anyway, that was Cardiff, now known as Erebor. So, of course, I want to run this as a workshop, and today, as I've had a few days away, I'm very light on content, so be very open to questions and topics you want to be looking at. And if there's anything practical you want to see a demo of, then do jump in and let me know. So, as you know, we have just wrapped up Project Catalyst voting, and the results are in. Some of my favorite projects have got funded, which is great to see. And actually, there's a drastic difference in the voting outcomes of this fund, it seems. Initial quick sort of glance around is showing us that we've got almost 1 in 5 proposals made actually getting investment, which is very different from previously, where you had sort of, I don't know, 5-10% of project proposals getting funded. Now we've got a fifth, so it's really stepped up the distribution of funds, and hopefully we'll have far more teams building, much more morale being kept, and we can go on from here with renewed enthusiasm. Particularly, again, the market cycles do play a big part in people's enthusiasm, and as we're heading into a bull, we'll definitely see more people coming on board. So we've got some rough overall stats here: 300 funded proposals out of the 910 applying this time round. So that's even a greater percentage, that's 30%. And there's the list of proposals. Is this just filtered for winning ones now? I'm still not sure. But 307,000 votes cast, so I suspect that's a full lot still. Down here, though, it starts to get interesting when we look at the breakdown of the actual voting wallets and what size they are and what impact they have on the outcome of the votes. That's always metrics that we're interested in terms of seeing whether we've got a fair and equitable voice being heard as a community. So this chart I thought was interesting. You can see this larger segment here, which notably holds a large sway of the voting power, is for voting wallets between 1 million and 5 million ADA. So that's a huge amount of ADA. So these are whales. So within that bracket, that's 1.4 billion. So it could be a few hundred whales actually causing, driving the largest amount of voting decisions being made. So we are reliant on the few overpowering the voting decisions of the many to a certain degree, but certainly that is a much better distributed pie chart of voting power than we had in the last few votes. So I think the removal of the downvoting has played its role. The restriction on the number of project proposals and the amount of budget they can ask for within certain categories now has been a really good move as well. And I think that we're going to see a lot more projects delivering in short shrift because of the changes that have been made to the distribution of funds and the cycle that's going on at that end of the whole project flow. So we had the results released yesterday. If you want to do a deep dive into them, I do have a link to the spreadsheet, and I don't think I have access to it at the moment, so I'll get that into the links afterwards. But there's a Google spreadsheet that you can jump in and actually see all the projects. That way you can easily filter for keywords to find the projects that you did vote for, see how they fared. But yeah, this is a quick list here of the top funded. So 1.5 million ADA was gathered by Wes Parkinson. I don't even know what projects were his. So a load, and you can see some of the larger projects that well known I've spoken about several times have gained decent amount of voting and funding. So we've got the Catalyst working groups. So that's going to be looking at how to form working groups around the systems within Catalyst to improve its the way that it's run, the way that it's operated, and maximize the results we get out of the teams that we do fund. We've got real world asset tokenization from the NFT. Patrick Tobler, an Endmaker, his team are moving heavily into real world asset tokenization this year. So that's about physical objects in this world that we can actually fractionalize and put on chain. Most of the assets we talk about in that class already within Cardano are property. So there's several projects working on property assets being because they tend to be large value assets, and so part ownership makes sense in their case in particular. But real world assets can include all sorts, whether that's businesses like shares or diamonds, which again Endmaker are involved in creating fractionalized diamonds offerings. Yeah, etc., etc. We've got Optim Finance, again, the guys who gave us the 1 million ADA bond for our pool. We paid for it, so they didn't give it to us, but they've secured funding for their DeFi protocols that they want to be building out, which is very exciting. They're hoping to bring in a whole load of new price movement and mechanisms for decentralized finance on Cardano. The guys have got a great track record of working on Ethereum chain beforehand, and to date have had some really successful projects on Cardano, secured a whole load of the total value locked in their protocols. So it'll be interesting to see what they come up with their OADA and their Optim accounts platform. And they've got 750,000 of our ADA to play with. So I'm expecting some great things from them. Handle Chat by Ada Handle, the user-friendly handles for all your wallets on Cardano. That's a very good thing to have a look at if you haven't already. Last innovation they had is that they've got now customizations for their handles. So where your handle is represented on a website, so you can sort of have a landing page for people to come and find out who you are based on the handle for your wallet. They've got a whole lot of customizations going on there, and they're tying that in with NFTs and so forth. They've got new tranche of funding, so they'll be building out more things. Conrad, who runs Blade Pool, he's a really good guy. I like the way he thinks and talks about the ecosystem, and he's very active on Twitter as well. He wants us to follow. They've got a proposal to help onboard Ethereum virtual machine developers into Cardano's ecosystem now, which is good. That's always going to be a great way. We need to be interoperable with other chains. We also need to provide easy routes for other developers to come on chain as Ethereum looks to spread its vast lead in the market across the other blockchains. Cardano does need a piece of that as well. So that's projects to help them onboard them from the Ethereum ecosystem. Project Noom has that cross-chain music streaming platform, so they're looking to go into broader blockchains as well. Ncoins, which is a privacy coin, talked about them too. So again, lots of our high-profile known projects are receive funding again, but there's also some of the smaller ones as well, which have gained funding, like Andamio, which is the online learning management system from the Gimbal Labs team. They've secured funding for a couple of their proposals. And also the online business developer accelerator, which is kind of like business coaching, mentoring, but geared towards DAOs and impact groups. They're running an accelerator, and that's a collaboration between the Edify Edify team and Decipher. They are based in the US. They are really good guys who've been around GimLab's teams, GimLab projects as well, and also involved with WADA and West African Decentralized Alliance and Project Catalyst for a long time. So that's great to see them get some funding too. I will be collaborating with them on future proposals also. So
Did Machiavellic get anything, Jonathan? Because I know they put in, was it 2 proposals?
that's a good question. I haven't actually checked Machiavellic. Let's have a quick look. But actually, one of the ways you can do it as well is from Project Catalyst.io now has the results on their page too. So you can just come to this URL and then search for what their proposal name was. It Wild Snake. Is that going to be here? Yeah, Unleashing Cardano's Gaming Revolution. They did not get funded. That's a shame. They got 22 million or 23 million in yes votes. That wasn't enough to get them into the winning territory. So they were asking for 230,000 ADA. They had 300 people voting. Again, we don't know how much of that was positive votes, how much was abstained, but most likely it was most of the yes votes, because there's no reward for abstaining other than to help anonymize the data a bit more. But yeah, they didn't get funded, which is a shame. I've no doubt they will continue to build those. They've done a good job of raising awareness on the Wax blockchain as well, and they do have some exciting new graphics out, and prototypes are pending, as we've seen from their recent posts on their blog. No, that wasn't it. I did that earlier. But yeah, good shout. Any other projects you want me to have a quick look at? This was a Machiavellic latest news. I did find it for today. Well, yeah, so Machiavellic have got some, actually it was on their Medium post, that was it, wasn't it? See it up there. So they've got some new lore being written out, but then also there's some good posts on their actual gameplay, which is starting to appear. I think it was one of these had some great graphics on my previous one. Of actual in-game assets. So that's not that config. And then they've got the actual 3D model of it mapped out here, which is looking good. So there's been a lot of talk in the last week or so around the Cardano space that gaming on Cardano is struggling. There are a couple of teams that have been building on it, building games out on here, and one of the largest teams that I've spoken about before is Ima Studios. Talk about that graphic again in a second. But Ima Studios are a game development team that is formed out of Sebastian, who he's responsible for building out the Milcometer sidechain infrastructure. So Wing Rider's Dex uses it, and he is a really proficient developer, really good, one of the best guys in the space for building out technical architecture for things. And his Pimer project has a Tarochi game which launched, and it was very quiet, not seeing a lot of action yet. And for a high-profile developer, he was wondering why there's been so little activity. Again, the game industry is niche. If you catch onto a wave, then you'll build up. If you don't quite catch it, then it's much more of a struggle. And so Patrick Tobler, who runs up NMaker again, he was commenting that the gaming space is kind of low key, but with the size of the Ethereum gaming space, that will be represented proportionally within Cardano. But again, the Cardano most likely will be represented proportionally, but at the moment Cardano is pretty small in terms of gaming content. So I've got big hopes for Machiavellic, for Player Mint, for Pimer Studios in terms of being the first ones to really gain traction in the gaming space, in the pure gaming space. And then of course we've got the metaverse style projects that will have their own games within the metaverse, like Cornucopias has got some great gameplay built out already. Demos of they've got a public beta of their game, public in terms of you had to have participated in some of their NFT launches, but you can buy their NFT and get access to the game now, or to the metaverse now, which is exciting. My eldest is just rebuilding his gaming PC. He's got a new water cooler for his CPU, so we'll be downloading, getting some Cornucopias demos going later, hopefully. Because my laptop just doesn't quite cut the mustard. So one other thing that is not Cardano, is not related to blockchain tech directly, but is in the artificial intelligence space, and I think is well worth a quick scan, because the release yesterday is absolutely mind-blowing in terms of what the potentials are for the future. So the video you should be seeing on screen now is an artificially intelligence generated video. So there is no real footage here. This is all real footage taken or real stills, maybe passed to an AI engine and then been asked to animate it. So all that particle physics is all artificially intelligently generated. The soft body dynamics, the mannerisms, all that limb movement, it's all being generated by an AI.
That's amazing. You can see avatars coming up in this kind of form.
Absolutely staggering. Your audio is coming through a bit Dalek. I don't quite know what's up with that, but yeah, incredible leap forward in terms of generative video. And this Twitter thread in particular is well worth a scan through, because honestly, we're again just impeccably produced video, if that was from a camera, but this isn't. This is actually generated from an AI engine, and this is video to video AI. So it may have passed in a particular video stream, and then the rest of the movement, the eye action, the surroundings are all being generated by an AI engine. So the actual movement of the bird is being replicated, not being, it's being mimicked rather than being fed instructions as to what to do, which is quite incredible. And we have two miniature pirate ships battling each other in a coffee cup. And again, all generative artificial intelligence video. This was a spectacular one. So you've got scanning shot of a smooth action camera, panning over busy street scene. But if you there are still giveaways that it's AI. So the feet aren't quite tied. Feet motion isn't quite tied into the pavement, so there is some slipping of the feet. Some of these, some of the flowers are floating in space and not attached to branches. But really, I mean, at first glance, there's very little to give away that that's actually not real footage. And for such a complex scene, it just, it's going to blow up, blow apart the real motion video capture industry very, very quickly. And yeah, if these videos go on, they just get more and more spectacular. Physics don't even quite make sense in that, but it's still believable. So our human brains are going to have a hard time picking out what's real and what's fake. And you've got all sorts of camera techniques, film grade that you can influence, just en masse now. So if you want your video to look like Western, specify, make it look like a Western, and this is the sort of video that you get produced. Real animations of inside a snow globe. You've got all the reflections. There was one here that was particularly stunning. So this is an AI generated video of tube train going, or an overland train going past buildings, and you can see a character reflected in the window when it goes past a dark building. Just completely convincing in terms of realism. Can't even fault that. I wouldn't know that wasn't anything other than real footage. These complex street scenes, I mean, you're bound to see some anomalies coming up in crowd scenes like this, head shrinking, the necks and limbs being added onto, extra limbs being added onto people, but the bulk of the frame is just accurate, it's just correct. Real world physics, real world motion movements and funny things. So yeah, this has come out of the OpenAI lab, and they're only going to get more and more convincing over time. So yeah, film production is going to drastically change, and this does play into blockchain, because when we've got content creation now coming down in price so drastically, that say there's got to be some way of paying for artists who are putting displaced into other film and other industries, parts of the industry. So if you've got real content creators, graphic artists, 3D illustrators now moving over into AI generative art, that transfer and value exchange, royalties for digital assets that are going to be so easy to create now, become much more important. So having a blockchain layer that rewards and remunerates people who use footage, reuse footage, is perfect for blockchain, an application of blockchain technology. So there we go. Some wild AI.
Just on a different subject, Jonathan. Has there been any more news about Midnight?
No direct news. Only Charles Hoskinson's been reiterating the fact that they are plowing ahead with Midnight, full guns ahead. We're very excited for 2024. He does have a useful little YouTube video that's worth a watch. One of his streams where they go over some of the plans, because there was Masari is a financial reporting institution that has done a couple of done one in the past about Cardano, and they've just released another one as well for Q4 of 2023, which is very positive. just showing the sort of movement of assets from other chains into Cardano and the growth of the Cardano ecosystem as a whole. It's looking really, really positive. So that video is worth a watch. And actually, I said about your mic being a problem. It's just played out on this video as well. So it's actually my machine. So ignore me. Your audio is probably fine. So yeah, that video is worth a watch. And there is another one as well where he does mention a bit more about Midnight. The Midnight, for anyone who doesn't know, is a partner chain to Cardano, being built by the IOG out of the IOG team. IOG built Cardano. They have, I don't know, perhaps it was in that state of Cardano blog. So yeah, that's a video to watch, Paul. Grab that one. I'll drop that into the Discord again. The Midnight chain will give us privacy for our blockchain transactions. So at the moment, when you send ADA from one person to another, that is all verifiable and publicly viewable on the blockchain. And so if you know someone's wallet address or no amount of tokens that have moved from one person to another, you can quickly find out their other transactions or other transaction history. And if, that's fine for most of what we do, because you do want public and transparent display of the flow of funds for most situations. If you're sending money to somebody, you want both ends of that transaction to be public, so that anybody who complains about it afterwards and says, well, it's on chain, this transaction definitely happened, I paid you for these goods, why have they not turned up? That sort of transparency is a really powerful feature of Bitcoin and blockchain as a whole. And of course, Cardano's inherited all those core features that come from the innovation of Satoshi Nakamoto and the Bitcoin blockchain. But we do need also to have some of the real world use cases for transactions replicated in the blockchain space as well. So if you are hiring somebody, you don't necessarily want their salary information to be public. If you're paying them monthly from on the blockchain, you don't really want that information being spread to the world, because not everyone wants their salary shared. It makes it ripe for headhunters to come in and undercut you in terms of or outbid you in terms of price and directly approach people to headhunt them out from underneath you. There's competitive advantage to having privacy to your transactions that is necessary for our capitalist system and most others. So having private transactions, but still having that verifiability, that immutability of the blockchains is crucial for mass adoption. And so Midnight is a chain that's going to bring that as a partner chain to Cardano. Of course, there's existing large-scale ones like Monero out there, but Midnight will have particular benefits for the Cardano ecosystem, in that all the tech that's built on Midnight will be shared. We'll have a shared common base with Cardano. Everybody who is an ADA holder will receive an initial airdrop of the Midnight token, whatever that ends up being. They've certainly mentioned Dust already, but I think the airdrop will be in another one. And there's lots of really rapid interoperability between Cardano blockchain and Midnight. Native token transfer, paying of fees on both chains with native tokens will be possible. So some great things coming out about it. But again, unless you're actually within the Midnight early adopter tranches, which I haven't managed to get into yet, the details are a little sketchy. So I don't have full detail on it yet. But yeah, everything's still looking good for Midnight. And that video is worth a watch. Keep that one. Keep that one and get rid of this one.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Worries. So I did say I would come back to you on Axo Trade, which is the latest and greatest trading platform in DeFi as a whole, I would say. I'm not limiting it to the Cardano space now. It is an absolute masterpiece in terms of development, functionality, and will really explode the DeFi space for multiple reasons. One of the things I've been playing with is I haven't had the results through yet, so I can't tell you long term how it's going to perform, but the ability to take any of the tokens that are available on the exchange, have a look at the strategies that are being used to actually provide liquidity for these tokens, to actually drive the mechanism for swapping from one token to another, and allow anybody to create an algorithm that carries out those swaps in a very open, distributed manner. So I can copy anybody else's bot, I can tweak the parameters slightly, and when trades come along that match my bot, I'll get a portion of the trading fees to a greater degree than somebody else's bot. And so there'll be a constant competition, a capitalist style competition between each of the bot makers to make sure that it's running at most efficient for the end user, keeping the prices low, keeping the transaction volumes up, without anybody scooping it, a whole load of value out of the space. And this is being distributed to anybody that can leverage these tools, and the tools are looking really powerful. So I've had a hunt bot up and running for a couple of days. I'm going to leave it to run a bit longer before I get any results. I think I've had one trade go through it yet. So once I've got a handle on exactly what sort of fees you could perhaps earn from providing liquidity on Axo, I'll come back to you with some more details. But yeah, in terms of setting it up, adding your tokens into to fund one of the bots that you've replicated on here is all fairly smooth, and there are some glitches on the platform still because it's so young, so new, but yeah, it's just looking really powerful. So one of the for example, the spread market maker, I think I actually touched on this last week as well. If you wanted to come here, you can see that's how it appears for someone interacting with the DEX, but you can also interact with it as a bot creator. So now that let's get to now. I think it was spread market maker, and then from here you connect your wallet, fund it with 2 tokens, and then this would be this would send an NFT back into your wallet, which represents your participation in this bot. And then over time, you'll get data coming in of people who are swapping on the platform, and what proportion of those trades come through your bot, and hence what sort of fees you'll be earning off the back of it. So yeah, it worked very smoothly. I got it done in 10 minutes, and we'll hopefully get some results through that I can start to share with you. And this may be one of the things that now I do keep thinking about the DAO that we've got going, Opportunity DAO, and so far we've only participated in one pre-launch token sale, which was for the A starter token. I'm thinking of adding more offerings, suggesting more offerings into that DAO that we could participate in, and that may be some kind of shared investment pot that we then put into various strategies like this to grow that holding. So there could be some bots being run on Axo. We could get a Genius Yield smart order router going. We could even just do some token purchases by using DAO votes to decide on what to invest in. And then maybe hopefully down the road we can get involved in some kind of impact investment platform like Cardano. There are alternatives now on Cardano as well that we could maybe look at. So if that
Didn't we
interests you,
have,
then do let me know.
Didn't we have like 500 ADAs sitting by the side or something?
Yeah, there
that we
was
didn't-
couple $100 worth, I think, of ADA sitting there. So at the moment, that's just accruing value as the ADA price goes up, but we could be putting that to hard work, certainly, yeah. So we could be buying some small cap coins or something like that to get going. But yeah, that's a vehicle we're not making the most of, so that could be something. And if you're interested, then do give me a shout on Discord server. You can direct message me or post a message on Hangout, and I'll drop an invite through to the Opportunity DAO Discord, which is a separate entity from Fluid 7. We can start to discuss things. Cool. Okay. Well, that's all I had gathered to have a look at today. So I'm up for free-form discussion or investigation. What do you want to have a look at in this space?
I've got a few topics that I want to cover if you've got time.
Yeah.
Do you want to start now?
Go for it, please.
Okay. When you open Eternal Wallet, you go into the account default screen. There's an area called Quick Access, and I've got one thing called Mint Your Data ADA handle, and second item is Register Your ADA mail. What are those two?
Yep. So that's these. You're seeing them on screen now.
Yeah, you've got those as well. Yes.
So Handle is one of the projects that just secured funding in Catalyst Fund 11. They offer the easy, human-friendly handles for your wallet. So a bit like a shortcut, or like web addresses, web domains. Microsoft.com is actually translated out into a number on the internet. With the blockchain, ADA handles are translated out into receive addresses. So you can have a handle that could be $Dinesh that would point to the receive address for your wallet. And then when anyone wants to send you funds, in most wallets now, they can actually put in a handle instead. So if you wanted to send me, send a pool some ADA just as a gift to maybe be added to the pledge or something like that, then you could, instead of having to put in ADDR1 that whole string of characters, you could actually just drop the ADA handle in there. So this ADA handle is translated out by most of the Cardano tools now into a wallet. So I can put Fluid in there, and that's taken us to the owner wallet for Fluid Pool. So that's a quick way of doing it. So you could have $Dinesh or anything like that.
Is there a risk in that you might mistype something and it goes to somebody else? And is there a way to validate before you go and send it?
You gotta be accurate, yeah, exactly. But there's as big, if not more, of a risk in trying to make sure you've got this correct. So that's
I'm assuming that the system doesn't allow you to create two of the same handle.
correct, yeah. So they do have validation in terms of duplicates, but overall they can't be 100% accurate, or responsible for accuracy of people's typing. But ADA handle is a great thing to have if you're ever going to be sharing your receive address widely. So in terms of relation to projects, or be great for Opportunity DAO to get a handle, so that when we're sending funds into opportunities, we've got an easy way for people to do it without having to have the full address to hand. That's the sort of use case. Just trying to find the website. There we go. Handle me. So this is the website, and the link from the summary page I haven't actually used, but I guess it's creating a dApp connection directly within the wallet. So yeah, one thing that's really useful about Eternal Wallet is that it does have this dApp store. So for example, most powerful use case I've found for it so far is that if you're on your phone and you have Eternal Wallet installed on your phone, you can of course import your normal wallets like you use on the desktop. You can import the seed phrase into your mobile wallet. Again, I would never recommend doing this with any of your larger wallets. Keep them very small, because obviously your mobile phone is a far greater target for robbery than your desktop computer, because you'll be out in public on a train, someone can look over your shoulder, etc., etc. It's much hard to keep a mobile device secure than it is to keep your desktop computer. So do be cautious. But if you do need to do things on the blockchain and while you're on the go, then having that on your phone is quite useful. So one of the things that I will do is check my yield farms, harvest rewards. Sometimes I might do that when I'm on holiday. I don't want to be lugging my laptop down to the beach. I can just do it from my phone instead. And that's, we're talking about gathering 20 quid from one wallet and moving it into another. And so you can actually have that set up on your Eternal Wallet on your phone. Now, typically you can't connect your Eternal Wallet to other mobile phone applications that use the Cardano blockchain. So, for example, there's the decentralized exchanges like MinSwap and MusliSwap. You can't connect your Eternal Wallet on your mobile to your MusliSwap app on your mobile or your MinSwap app on the mobile. So what you would do instead is use the dApp browser within Eternal. So I can probably demo what it might look like. I don't have my mobile phone connected to the computer, so I won't show on there. But if I do this, this is kind of replicating what it will look like on the phone. You would go to one of your wallets, like state data on the summary tab. And these are shortcuts just into the dApp library. But if you want to see all the decentralized applications that are available within Eternal, because sorry, I haven't quite gone into detail enough. So when your reason you can't like connect Eternal Wallet app to your MinSwap app on your phone is that there's no way for that dApp connector to be aware of the other app within the Android ecosystem or the Apple ecosystem. So you have to stay within one of those apps to be able to actually talk to other apps. So within the Eternal app, you can go to the dApp browser, which is off this main menu button. Find the application you want to connect with. So that could be, for example, MinSwap. Did I have my dApp connector on? Jump back in.
Yeah, you disconnected the dApp. Yeah.
dApp browser. Can I jump into MinSwap? And now this iteration of the MinSwap decentralized application, the DEX, has got access to the dApp connector portion of Eternal Wallet. So you can actually see the balance of your wallet within this dApp, this MinSwap dApp within Eternal, and carry out swaps and trades and harvesting and everything like that. So this is a really useful mechanism to be able to do things on your mobile phone, even though the dApp connector isn't supported between dApps on Android or on mobile devices. So yeah, that's one useful very useful thing, and I have used it a few times now. So yeah, any of these dApps that are listed within here are actually available to connect directly to Eternal within this user interface, and it works very well. Yeah, so you were actually asking about the summary page. Let me jump back onto desktop. It's more familiar too.
Yeah, that was quite useful. That, yeah, I didn't realize you could do a dApp to dApp. You could connect to a browser through there. So that's good. That was good topic.
Nice little power tip. Yeah. So yeah, back on the summary page.
Yeah.
This link, this Ada handle link, is just a shortcut into the dApp connector. So and you can see here it's got the balance of my wallet actually showing within the handle.me website or decentralized application. So I know that I can actually go ahead and mint a handle, or from my mobile, or in this case from the browser extension, without leaving this browser extension, this one browser extension, which is a very good. So that's a good way of decreasing your exposure to other websites and so on and so forth. Just make sure that the only dApps you can connect to are ones that have been, to some extent, verified, ratified by the Eternal browser team.
So dot handle is that a dApp in itself? Is that like a service?
Yeah. So any website, as you would see, so like to visit mints.handle.me is just a web domain. That's actually just a web application that's sitting on an internet server that people can interact with. What classes it as a decentralized application is that you can actually connect your wallet, your blockchain wallet, to it. So it'll have a connect button in some way, shape, or form. So if I'm interacting with the handle.me website from just the web browser, then I'm actually sending all my interactions with that dApp across the internet. I know that it's leaving my machine and going out onto the internet to that web application. If I'm interacting with a decentralized application in the form of a browser extension, so that means that I've installed an extension, I've gone to the Chrome Play Store or the Mozilla Firefox app installer, or the Safari Apple Store to install one of these apps. Then I'm with one of these browser extensions, then I'm just interacting on my local machine, or connecting out through that browser extension to the third party. And so I know that all that connection has been designed and set up by the developers of that application. So most of the app, like for example, the Eternal browser extension, I've installed it as a Chrome extension. So it's sitting here, Chrome extension in my address bar. That means it's all on my machine. Any interaction I do with the Eternal wallet is just actually staying here until I want to sign a transaction out with the broader Eco blockchain, which I do need to then access across the internet. That's the only time that I'm actually sending data out across the internet. Most of the activity is just done within the browser extension on my local machine. And if you want to get really techie, you can actually see in here, if you do view page source on any website, you can see the background of or the source code of the website. And here you can see this is just loading up a JavaScript application, and that is a local path to my browser extension. So it's just sitting on my local machine. If I go back to here now and actually view F12, then this opens up this developer browser environment or developer tool that lets me see all the connections out to the wider internet that are being made. bit better. This isn't that long. So slide, drag path. So I've got all selected for all. If I now refresh this, this is showing all the requests from this application to files to serve this thing. And if you look at them, they're all actually, that's probably too small for you to see on the screen share, but it's actually all Chrome extension / links, which means that it's not leaving my machine, it's just staying in my local browser environment. So none of these JavaScript files and CSS files are being served across the internet, they're all coming from my local machine. And that way, you know that the code that you're running is actually not being served by another website, or, you know, if you've been compromised in some way, shape, or form. They had to have actually compromised the browser extension, got that uploaded into the Chrome store. You'll have downloaded the wrong one, the fake one, the scam one, for it to go wrong. So once you've downloaded it, you're happy with the extension you've got installed, then you're just working on your local machine. So it's a good way of doing it. And this sort of DApp browser environment is also got that ideal, that standard in mind. You're interacting through one ratified interface, and most of your executions, transactions, etc., interactions with that application staying on your local environment. And that means that the code that you're dealing with is all known to a great degree, and can be trusted to a great degree. So yeah, a little bit of a deep dive, but that's the idea behind it. So when you jump off to Mint your handle from here, which is within the Chrome extension, then I'm actually making requests through the Eternal app to only get code that it knows about, that it understands from across the internet. So this now, that handle, it's done some validating that it's connecting to the correct website, the correct domain. It's only pulling down files that it's known and checked. So you can interact then with more confidence that you're not connecting to, you know, a rogue website in some way, shape, or form. So you know, maybe it's the first time I'm using Handle Me as a website, and maybe someone. So just like on those scam tokens that we're seeing on Cardano at the moment, check to that as well. So each of those scam tokens shows you a actually, I might have got rid of all mine.
I've got two now.
Yeah. Try a quick look. There we go. So this is a scam token. So it's been sent for free into a wallet on Cardano by the scammer. And on the image for that scam token, they've got the web address. I'm not going to read it out because I don't want to promote it. But that domain then is a replica, a copy of the legitimate MinSwap domain. So if there could have been someone's created a scam token or a link, or, you know, a link in a Discord server that's actually taking you to, you know, a scammer's website instead of the legitimate one. And it's very hard for you to know as a first-time user whether this mint.handleme is the actual authentic domain or if it's a scam domain. Maybe it could be mint -handle.me and look very similar, but actually that would be a completely different owner of that domain, a completely different website. It could look exactly the same because they've just copied all the code down, but you don't know you're interacting with not with the legitimate app that you think you are. So it's very, very dangerous, really. You have to really keep your head in the game when you're interacting with websites that are actually running DApp connectors. So a safer way of doing it is actually doing it all within the Eternal ecosystem. So particularly if you're dealing with something for the first time, then I'd I check if it's in the dApp browser in Eternal, go and have a look at it. I don't think there's a way to actually verify the domain that's behind these dApps necessarily. Well, actually, you can tell, because if once you're, so I'm in the Chrome browser extension, I've gone into this Handle Me dApp browser. When I hover around some of the links that's on this website, this web application that's been loaded into Eternal, I can see down in the very bottom left corner of my screen a tiny little text that will show you the web address of the link that I'm hovering over. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that because it's going to be tiny text, but it says https://mint.handle.me/handle-status. And so, I know that the address that's printed there when I hover over that link, the bottom left of the dApp browser, is actually the address that I'm seeing when I go directly to the website here. So I now know, okay, those two are equivalent. The dApp browser is talking to this website. So if I could actually interact with this website directly and know that I'm in the right place. But that's, one of the ways that you can actually start to figure out what websites you can trust on the internet, what ones you can't, or what ones to avoid. But if you stay within the Eternal ecosystem, that sort of work has been done for you, and so you can interact with it. So that's the handle. If you wanted to mint your own handle by Dinesh is cool as an address for your wallet, you could go and search for Dinesh is cool on here, and that will let you buy the handle directly through the dApp.
I might buy that one.
Oh, I'm going to see now. See if I can. I'll buy it
They
first.
charge-
Sell it to you.
Yeah.
It's 15 ADA, so that you can go and grab that for 15 ADA and actually have a nice handle on your wallet.
Right. That's good. That's good.
So the other button on here of the dApps that they are promoting, front and center within Eternal, is this ADA Mail. So ADA Mail is a way to create an email address that is connected to your wallet as well.
Quick question. Do you remember when we got this card from A Starter?
Mm.
And when I registered with a scan code, I seem to remember it asked for an ADA mail if you wanted to create an ADA mail. Is this the same thing, or are they two different things?
I imagine that's the same thing. I can't actually. I've got access to mine as well. Yeah, I guess it does mention ADA Mail on the
No, it's when
AWS
you
itself, or when you actually
go to the next
follow
step.
the link through. Yeah. So that is the same service.
Okay, good. Thank you.
So yeah, you can actually get a free alias for your for yourself, and those. Yes, that's one of the interesting things. You can actually get a free if you've got a handle, an ADA handle. Then you also get along with it for free at the moment, certainly, a ADA Mail email address. So once you've got those two connected, you can actually receive, if anybody sends like next week when you bought Dinesh's Cool handle, if anybody sends an email to dineshescool@adamail.me, then that will turn up in the mailbox that only you can access. Because to be able to access that mailbox, you have to connect your wallet to adamail.me. So here you can see that link from Eternal actually took you through to the web application rather than staying within the dApp browser. So this has jumped me out into https://app.adamail.me. So I'm just going to do a quick verify, simple check. Let's have a look at adamail.me. Is that the app that I'm happy to be interacting with? Let's go up. So it looks legitimate. Let's have a look at, so what I like to do is find a sort of a loop between one of the social media platforms, whatever that is, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. So here's a link to their X account. So I'll go to X, which is effectively Twitter and renamed. I can see that this Twitter account has got 78 people. It's following 78 people, which is not a lot, but it has got 3,500 people following it. So if it's got a lot of followers, chances are it's legitimate. There's more chance of it being the legitimate project. I can then follow the link from here back to the website, and that's a circular link, which means that this address here is the one that I left from. As I can see that here. So that's saying www.adamail.me. This one took me to www.adamail.me. So I know that that's a circular route, following links out through to social media and then back from social media back to here. So that's one way of doing it. You can also maybe find some of the projects that they are following and see if they look like some other operators in the blockchain space that you would trust. So I know, for example, that adamail.me account is following Ada for Good, which is Vahid, a friend of mine who is involved in the Extra Small Stateful Alliance, one of the founders. I've got here Ada Northpool, which is Einstein, who I was on the London Cardano panel for. So he was one of the stateful operator panel guys based out of Norway. So I know that Adamail account is following these guys who I know are legitimate. I can even see if any of those are following that Adamail account. So you verify the Twitter social media account first, and then follow the links back from that social media page profile to the address that's linked in from their profile back to their website. And in that full circle just helps you to verify that you're interacting with the right application. You've got more confidence in it. So I can now launch the app. In fact, I will try and connect to my wallet. I don't forget any of this set up. So that's pops up the request to connect to that browser. It's not asking me to sign anything yet. It's just saying grant access. So this will let the decentralized web application, the DApp, at app.adamail.me talk to the DApp connector of my Eternal wallet. So I'm going to grant that access. So that just pops up message, pass not found. So it didn't find any connection between my wallet and the Adamail website, so I can't actually interact with it. One of my other wallets does have that, so it does have a handle, but I don't have that set up in this one, so I can't actually demo that. But maybe that's something I'll get ready for next week, so then I can take you through that step again. So if you bought a handle or you've bought a membership of adamail.me directly, I think you can actually try it for free as well if you're just using the free tier. Lets you just mint an address, so that will be your wallet address rather than your handle. So I think it's something like asking me to pay with NMaker, but I don't think I'll have to. So that's building an NFT for me, which will be my access pass to it's not letting me choose Eternal for some reason. Oh, it's the cookies thing. Yeah, so now I can choose my DAP connector. I'm going to go through Eternal. So now I've got this web application talking to adamail.me already, and it's now actually popped up to grant access to talk to pay.nmaker.io. So again, if you're doing full due diligence, it's the first time you're using it, it's a good idea before you just grant access, you should actually go have a look at nmaker.io. And so that's not letting me access it directly. So then I could go to nmaker.io, take the pay out of the domain. That should be the top level domain. Okay, now I'm more familiar with this website. This looks correct and legitimate. So again, now if you're it's the first time, you would find their social media links. Let's link through to LinkedIn. Let's do that this time. On this LinkedIn page, let's see if we can find a link back through to nmaker.io. So there we go. That's taking you back to nmaker.io. Yeah, that's a full loop we've done. Now I want to find the link from here out to pay.nmaker.io. Now I know that actually if it's a subdomain, pay, and then it's got a dot, and then nmaker.io is the primary domain I've already verified. If you've got pay dot your primary domain, then you're okay to use it. It's very little chance of anybody hijacking pay.nmaker.io, but if it was, for example, pay-nmaker.io, then that's another domain that anybody could have bought to try and scam you. So yeah, if I'm going to follow this down this rabbit hole, I'd keep going until I found a connection to pay.nmaker.io directly from the nmaker.io website. But you know, I've done enough to make me confident here, so I'm actually going to grant access for this to talk to pay.nmaker.io as well. I'm going to agree to the terms and conditions. I'm being diligent. I will go through and read them. I have browsed through nmakers in the past. Going to confirm I am human. And this is a new capture that's thrown me a few times. You've got to click on the object that's different from the others. So I've got to pick out, in this case, the elephant from the buttons for some reason. It's going to get hard. The robot's going to find these easier to pass than humans before long, I'm pretty sure. So there we go. So it's not entirely free. I do have to pay $1.20 to Ada to buy this this NFT, which will then let me access Ada Mail. Actually, I might just do that. Do a full end-to-end demo. We've got some time today. So now this is asking me to sign a transaction. So anytime you're being asked to sign a transaction, and this is why I use a Eternal wallet, even though it's more complicated than something like Nami wallet or Yoroi. I like it because it gives you full transparency of the transaction data, real like nuts and bolts stuff. And so what I will look for is anything in red, anything with a negative next to it, because that means it's ADA or a native token, which will be in white but still have a minus sign. This is money leaving my wallet. When I sign this transaction, I'm sending this money out there. So that's got to be the money I'm expected, and only the money. I'm saying money, but I mean tokens. Only the tokens I expect. If there was nmaker down here or min tokens or something that it's stealing out of my wallet, then I will not sign this transaction. But this is always worth doing. Checking in this section, checking the fee. That there's a blockchain fee is about right as well before signing. I'm happy with that, so I'm going to go ahead and sign this transaction if I can. I just need to get my spending passphrase up. come to you in 1 second at a time. Just bear with me. Sorry, the whole two-factor authentication to get access to my passphrases because I'm trying to practice what I preach. Bitwarden is the password user I recommend and the one that I use. If you haven't watched my staking tutorial video, that details how to get Bitwarden set up and installed as well, and I highly recommend doing that as one of the steps that you take towards interacting with applications like this. It will no doubt get easier over time, but getting in early, getting in now gives you an advantage. And then I'm looking for my wallet passphrase, which I can then sign this transaction with. So I'm going to click sign. And so I'm spending 2 ADA to get an NFT that will let me access the ADAmail.me platform. Waiting for that payment to go through. So I'll come back to that as it processes. Utan, did you have a question?
Yes, Jonathan. It's regarding, like Eternal Wallet again. I recently lost the, the pin that I normally tend to have in top of my browser, Brave browser. And when I checked it, then it says some sort of repair going on. And I couldn't figure out why is that. So I went to manage extension in the Brave browser, and it says Eternal, this extension may have been corrupted. And there's a detailed remove repair. So option I tend to have. Is there any reason why I'm having that?
Not that I'm aware of. Meet you again. It's worth following that through though. So I'd probably recommend doing, first of all, double check all your seed phrases are stored safely offline. So go to your original way of storing your seed phrases for the wallet that you have, the wallets that you have in Eternal. I would open up a new browser. So if you've done that in Brave, I would maybe go and get install a new web browser like Chromium.
Edge.
You could do Edge browser as well if that's already on your machine. So I recommend when you're interacting with wallets and dApps is to use a browser that you don't use for normal everyday web browsing, just as an extra precaution. So there are lots of browser vendors out there now who have very good privacy protecting and anti-tracking mechanisms. Brave is one of them. I like Mozilla Firefox as well. And then there are Chrome alternatives, so you can get Chrome itself, which is a very good, very good wallet, very good browser. But I don't use it for any crypto stuff, just because I tend to use it for daily, day-to-day stuff as well. So there are clones of it though, like Chromium, and you can get that and play with it. I in fact use one called Mercurial, which is a Firefox clone, and I use another Chromium clone as well. I forget what the name at the moment, but yeah, there are lots of browsers out there. Go and get another one. Install the browser extension from scratch. So go to the Chrome Play Store if you've got a Chrome browser version going. Actually, it's not the Chrome Play Store, it's the Chrome Web Store you want. So go to Chrome Web Store directly, search on here for Eternal. And then go and download it from scratch here. So install a new browser, then come here, go and install it from scratch. Once it's installed, which it already is on my browser, then come to here, add a new wallet, and take your seed phrases that you've got stored offline somewhere. You've got your seed phrases are your wallets, and then use this restore wallet and recreate all of the wallets that you've got in your existing Eternal. I'm asking you to do it in a new browser with a new browser extension, because that way you know you've got a clean environment and you've verified that your seed phrases all work. You do that first before you start tampering with your other setup. This is all safety, because if you've got a problem with your seed phrases, you haven't written it down correctly or something like that, then you need to make sure you can restore them before you start resetting your Eternal wallet, your day-to-day Eternal wallet somewhere else. So then you'll restore a wallet, you'll choose a number of words, you'll then type in all your seed phrase, and that will recreate the wallet in Eternal in a new browser. Once you've got all that working, you set up your passphrase, you're guaranteed you can use that wallet, you can sign transactions, then go back to your current environment and start looking at what it's asking you to do. So your best bet, by the sounds of it, is probably to uninstall Eternal on the other wallet and then go through Chrome Web Store to reinstall it again from scratch, like you've done already in this new browser. So by the end of it, you'll end up with your existing Brave browser with a fresh install of Eternal wallet, and that will be empty to start with. Then you'll need to import your seed phrases there. But in the meantime, you'll also have your Chromium environment with all your seed phrases loaded up, ready to go. That way, you know you've not deleted one environment before you've made sure you can recreate it elsewhere. And this is all part of your data hygiene, your password cleanliness, your security procedures that you should follow to make sure that you're never compromised. Chances are, Brave browser, it's just asking you to there's just a fresh update of it, and you need to reinstall that update. But even when you do install an update that's being forced on you, then that can wipe out your wallets, for example. Or if you clean your browser cache, then that can wipe out your wallets as well. So you do need to have a backup of your seed phrases at all times, available to re-import. Go on, ask your question again.
So basically, once I've done in a Chrome browser and install my Eternal, then I should come back, once it's all verified, come back to Brave again. In a Brave, because I'm getting option like, for example, detail, remove, repair. So I should remove it, right? That's the option I select. I don't know if it let me remove or not, but I think that's the option. I don't. It's the only option I've got, repair. Like it's well, even repair is like it's in a so orange sort of like like a mark, but detail and remove like I don't think even I can select this. How can I remove the Eternal completely in a Brave browser from original one?
Cool. Yeah. So that's I would use the remove option as well, like you just said. So let me just check, see if I've got it installed. Actually, I'll do it from here. So tell you what.
Looks like I can remove it. Sorry, I can remove it. Looks like when I highlight it, so I can remove it. Yeah.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would remove it. The steps for doing that, I'll actually take you through at the end as well. But I just want to see if this other little bit thing I was doing had finished. So yeah, congratulations on your purchase. View and make a store. So we've got. Actually, I don't know what that shows us. It'll be interesting to see. View and make a store. Give me some sort of receipt. Yeah, cool. Next. So yeah, I've been sent this NFT into my Eternal wallet. So come here and transactions. Yeah, so I've received. So here on the transactions list, this is the 2 ADA sent out plus the transaction fee for the network, and then I've been sent back 1.7 ADA. So I've got most of that ADA back again, and I've also got a free pass. So really, you're just paying the transaction fees. And then if I want to look at that free pass, I can come to account, token list, and that is now my NFT that will grant me access to the AdaMail.me platform. So now if I go to my summary page, click on AdaMail.me again, it's taking me to sign in with, so this is within the DApp browser. It's getting me to sign in with my passphrase, which I just messed up. Try that again. So it's not asking me to spend anything because there's no transaction details that are sending ADA in or out. This is just a signing request. So it's just proving that I own this wallet. So that I can't scroll down. There's nothing beneath this window. So this is the only information. And there's no UTXOs being mentioned, which would be in or outputs from the wallet. This is just asking me to sign. So I can safely sign this again. A bit like that grant access thing. If I grab this. Then this will log me into the AdaMail.me platform. It's just verifying my NFT, my free pass that I received into the wallet.
So AdaMail is similar to what we call Gmail or Outlook, etc. It's like a email server.
Exactly, yeah. An email server, but instead of using usernames and passwords and two-factor authentication, the only way you can interact with it is with a Cardano wallet. If you hold that NFT. So if you send that NFT to somebody else, then they can then use that NFT to access that mailbox. So this is a real innovation. It's quite powerful, in fact. So a typical problem in companies is that you'll have an email address that's tied to you as an individual. But probably it'd be more useful to have that tied to your job role. So that could be to bookkeeper at fluid7.com. Have that as an email address, have an NFT associated with that mailbox. And then when I hire a new bookkeeper, I'll send them the NFT that will then let them access that mailbox. And so they can then, receive invoices and so on and so forth. When that person leaves that role, that employment, they would send the NFT back to their HR department or their boss, and that boss then can send the NFT to the new bookkeeper, whoever they choose, and so that way you actually have the role that's able to access that box always only able to be accessed by one person at one time, and if you needed to destroy the NFT or something like that, then you could actually disable well, yeah, I don't know if there's a mechanism for that within AdaMail.me already, but there'll be a way of disabling that mailbox entirely. So then ex-employees can't access that after their role is finished, and the HR have got a single source of access to that mailbox that's being sent through in an NFT form. And so that way you can really manage people's access to data.
So it's transferable.
Yeah.
It's a transferable email service, email account.
Email account, yeah. With a guarantee that only one person or anybody that holds that one NFT can access it at any one time. Now, I'm sure down the line they'll have maybe two NFTs, so the boss could have one and the employee could have one or something like that. But again, yeah, all these abilities are now coming, and it removes the headache of passwords, of people having other people's login credentials, because unless you have the NFT, you can't access it. And the person that does have the NFT can always access it. So it's a really good way of avoiding the hassles of having to remember passwords and get people set up with two-factor authentication, which is really is a big problem at the moment. In the future, any service that you have an NFT for will probably be the way that you access that service. And it'll either be an NFT or it'll just be actual proof, signing proof for that wallet. So yeah, powerful thing. This is taking a long time to load, so
yeah. So just a quick question, very quick question. Okay, so if I've got this ADA mail, can I send it to my wife's Gmail account and email to her, or is it not linked?
Yeah, so when it actually lets us in, if it lets us in, and if this still won't let me play, then I might go directly to the web apps and try and do it from there. Struggling, isn't it? So let me go to adamail.me. Let's connect. So this is app.adamail.me. I'm going to connect my Eternal wallet from here and see if I can get into the platform. So I can't imagine that it's down. It has been in the past, so I won't rule it out entirely, but let me get that window up there. Sorry, too many tabs, too many windows.
It's really strange, isn't it? When you look at the different tiers that you're paying in ADA as opposed to pounds and dollars.
Yeah.
Different currency. You gotta get thinking in terms of.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to let us in. So must have some kind of problem with the verification process at the moment.
No problems, but I think that's really helpful. Thank you very much, Jonathan.
Yeah, well, I've been in it in the past, and it shows you a regular mailbox, like you've logged into Outlook, Mail, or Gmail, or something like that, and then you can just send emails out. And actually, in the wallet, it was showing us what your email address is on the free tier. So there, I've got this random string of numbers and the adamail.me address. So your wife then could email that email address, sorry, and you'll get it in your email box. And the only person to be able to read that email would be someone who has the NFT that can log into that. So yeah.
Thank you very much.
And it's the sort of thing I can imagine there being like a family asset, wallet and a family asset mailbox or communications platform.
Yeah, that's a really good use case.
Yeah. So when it comes to inheritance and you distribute your
NFTs,
your inheritance NFT to your children and say, when I die and the doctor signs my proof of death certificate, these NFTs will spring to life and it'll be a free for all till you can get to my assets quickest.
Brilliant. Thank you for that.
Cool. All right, so Utan, I'll just go through and show you what happens when you remove the extension. So and I think that'll be the last thing for today because we'll run a bit over. If I now go to the browser management, yeah, so here it's got the remove from Brave option, and I believe that's what's being offered to you. Probably slightly different looking dialogue, but that will be what it's asking you to do. So remove from Brave, and that will actually delete the extension from your Chrome or your Brave or Firefox, whatever you're using, and to then re-access that wallet and so forth. I'll have to, because it's not on my list of extensions anymore, I'll have to then go to Eternal Wallet again. Please. Eternal.io is the actual website. So actually, yeah, I did cover. You can either go direct to the Chrome web store to install the extension, or you can try the website itself. I prefer actually going directly to the Chrome web store, because on the Chrome web store you've got, this is run by Google, which is running your browser, so you've got to trust somebody at some point, and that the platform that you want to, or the extension you want to install is on here. And you can see here, it's got this little verified tick check mark, which means that some employees at Google have verified that the Eternal that run the Eternal.io website are the guys who created this web extension. And so you've got some kind of validation that it's the right thing, the right one to install. I can then add that to Brave again. See, it will pop up then on your little jigsaw piece in Chrome or Brave, and that icon. I like to pin it to the toolbar, so I've always got easy access to it. It's going to be tiny on your viewing, so you might need to zoom in on the recording or something, but you can then click that. It will load up the latest version of the browser extension. You can check it's showing Chrome extension in the address bar again to make sure you're on the extension, and then you know that you can then re-add your wallets here to go through accessing, recreating your wallets and being able to access them. And then you know that your Brave and browser environment is cleaned up and fresh with the latest version of Eternal. So yeah, all these are.
So Jonathan, we've done all those. We've done all of those, like including we put all those passphrase as well. So recovery phrase. So now it's asking us to add a wallet. So we have multiple wallet, like in Eternal. So do we need to add all of them? We tried with one at this moment, and then it asks us to save. But do you think do I need to worry about adding all the wallet, or just to verify, should I just add only one wallet?
I would add them all in the Chrome extension, because you want to make sure that all your seed phrases are correct, that you've gone through your crypto hygiene processes in their entirety, and so if you've got one word wrong, one letter wrong, one character wrong in one of the words that you've written down in one of your seed phrases, then you will not be able to recreate that wallet. And so that's your big backup risk. That's why it's so important to write down your seed phrase offline, cold storage, on a hardware wallet or something like that. And then every now and then go through and make sure you can recreate your wallets, because these are holding, in a year's time, these are going to be holding significant amounts of value if you bought any kind of amount of ADA or these native tokens. And so you want to make sure that you can, recover in disaster. If your laptop gets stolen, if your mobile wallet falls down a drain, if your house catches fire, you want to be able to recreate your wallets from the seed phrases. So making sure that you can withstand, a browser needing to update an extension and having to remove it before it reinstalls, whether you need to survive a house fire, so your house burns down, your computer burns up, your notebook with your seed phrases that you keep at home burns up as well. Have you got a backup somewhere else? Have you got it stamped into a metal plate in a safety deposit box in your grandmother's flat, loft, whatever mechanism you choose for backing up your seed phrase, in a way that nobody else can find and stumble upon, and as soon as they've got your seed phrase, they can access your assets as well. Make sure you've backed up. Make sure you can withstand file. Go through these procedures. Just make it a habit. Maybe every 6 months or something, to recreate your wallets.
So Jonathan, that's great. But you know what? My problem here is I added, as I said, one wallet. Then it asked me for spending password, which also I put. I can see the wallet added in my Eternal wallet in Chrome browser, but adding second wallet in the Chrome browser, what I should do? Because when I press add wallet on top corner, it just gives me option of again what you call restore wallet, all those kind of stuff. Import and all wallet it says as well. So what exactly I should do? There are 4 options that I have.
Yeah, the one you want to use.
Another wallet. Sorry?
Yeah, the one you want to use is the add wallet and then restore wallet. So that's the way to get an existing seed phrase back into Eternal. So the import an old wallet is if you've done an export in a JSON file of your old wallets, but you haven't done that. So it's this restore wallet that you want to use. And yes, you're right that when you're restoring a wallet into Eternal, it asks you for your how many words are in your seed phrase, asks you to type in those words of the seed phrase, and then it asks you how many accounts you want to create within that one wallet. I always just say one account, because that's a slightly different mechanism to the way that I manage my wallets. And then it asks you for a spending passphrase. So I do that once for one seed phrase, and then I'd repeat the whole process: add a wallet, restore wallets, how many words, 20, type in the words, one account for the next seed phrase. And I do that for all my seed phrases to make sure that I can recreate all those accounts. And that's the best way to ensure.
You mean like, sorry, Jonathan. Are you saying that? So I've got like literally now at least 5, I think, wallets within Eternal Wallet. So are you saying that I need to repeat all remaining? I did one now, so I need to do all 4 of them as well.
Yes, I would.
Okay.
Yes, I would.
And do again, put the restore wallet, all the seed phrase, and then again sort of add wallet and then move on. Oh, that's quite a lot. Okay, I got it. Yeah, okay, I see.
Yeah, it is a pain. Yeah, it is a hassle. But the risk of losing access to your wallets because you've typed seed phrase down is too strong. Because if you do want to work in Brave long term and it's forced you to remove and then reinstall the extension, you're going to be back to this stage here, like my wallets on at the moment. I have no wallets there. So to be able to see those wallets again, see the balance and interact with them and sign transactions, I need to do this process. So yeah. Yeah, it's just one of the things, one of the hoops you have to jump through. And it is good practice just to do it every now and then as well. And I'd recommend this to everybody on the call, everybody listening, recordings as well. Just go through, recreate your wallets from your seed phrase every few months. Make sure you've got that procedure down. You're comfortable with it, because the more comfortable you are with that restore procedure, with your backups, with the way that you're handling your assets, the more you understand it. It's like muscle memory. Then the more you will trust being able to add in more assets and store them in this way. And remember that the reason we're doing this is because this is pure and clear, unadulterated self-sovereignty. You are your own boss. You are your own bank. You're in charge of your assets. Nobody can take them from you. Nobody can get access to them other than you and who you grant. So, you're not handing your assets over to a bank to look after. There's nobody you can go and ask for a password recovery from. It's not to Google, it's not to Facebook, not to Netflix, not to Apple, not to Amazon. It's none of those big players. It's you as an individual, self-sovereign individual, your own kingdom, your own coin, sitting in your own vault. And, that lends you a certain amount of power. And I believe that over time, as society changes, as agendas change, as we get more and more mandated down to us by government, overreach of the government, then this will be our refuge, and this will actually guarantee that we are staying self-sufficient regardless of what's happening in the society around us. And nothing has highlighted that more to me than coming through the COVID pandemic and the mandates that were passed down by government that weren't even really run through proper consultations with scientists and the academics that we know and trust. There was a whole it's a bit of an off topic, a bit of a rant, but there was a whole coercion and control mechanism going on by some entities, and there was a whole profit-driven factor to the actions that were taken, to the contracts that were assigned to individuals to help protect us in this pandemic, and a whole load of new legal measures that were put in place that removed power from the individual and gave power to the government. And I do like government. I value it. It's highly important. Everybody needs to stay engaged, but the model we're getting at the moment is too top heavy, too top powerful. It needs to be power to be brought down to the individual, and this sort of learning that you're doing here, being able to control your own wallets is a key aspect to making sure that we maintain and distribute power evenly to humanity.
Jonathan, I'm
Yeah.
here as well.
Yeah.
So just a quick question. You can just call me. So you know the Eternal wallet. As you explain how to do it, we would be able to do that, I guess. My question is, you know, we imported it from the URI wallet to the Eternal. So when Eternal gone down, so if we go back to URI, will we get everything back, or it will be different?
If you've got URI signed up, then yeah, that will stay working. If you've got another device or you know, another wallet set up and working, that will continue on. You know, why I'd still encourage you to go through this practice of restoring all your seed phrases is that one, it'll help you move or make sure you've got access to it from clean, from scratch, with your chosen wallet. But also, you know, if so say it was Brave that had gone down, you had Yoroi on there and you had Eternal on there. If Brave you know, ends up with some kind of corruption on one of its operating files, then it might mean you need to reinstall Brave. And when you reinstall Brave, you'll lose access to all your Brave extensions data. So Yoroi would go, Eternal would go. And so, yeah, it is good practice to, you know, even if you've got it on, you know, set up on your mobile phone, then just every now and then go through doing it on your desktop, in your, you know, regular environment, recreating those, because yeah, it's good practice. And this is an opportunity. Now you're being forced to do it for Brave, for Eternal, then, you know, it's a good idea to make sure you've got all your practices running through for all your devices, all your wallets, all your setups. Make sure that they're all, you know, you've got a backup at all times. You can access and sign transactions if you need.
Yeah, and one wallet you just restored but it looks like the money was the Cardano. It seems really nothing on that. The ADA.
Sorry, I missed it. Last bit.
Yeah, one wallet can manage to restore on the Eternal, and it seems that on that wallet the Cardano is not there. It just say the one ADA is not there. It's just like 1.57 ADA is there. But it's supposed to have like most of the ADA there.
Right. If you, it probably needs a bit more investigation, more than we want to share on the screen. So I'll wrap up the recording now and the call now, and we can carry on in a second. So thanks for joining everyone. I'll be back in next Friday, but yeah, if you want to stay on and listen, you're welcome to. But I'll end the recording here. Awesome.
Thanks very much.